Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make sourdough at home. I'm not going to be doing like an artisan loaf. I'm just doing imperfect sourdough. So I take my starter that has been taken out of the fridge. I use this often, a few times a week, so I know that it's nice and active. And I just dump it in the bowl there. It's about 3/4 cup of starter that I use. And then I take 350 mils of water, warm filtered water, and I'm dumping that into my bowl. And I'm going to stir that up and get that all combined. I'm going to add my salt right now. Some people wait until after the flour is added and they're folding it in, but I'm just going to add the salt now because it makes it easier for me so I don't forget later. The kids keep me busy, so I just don't want to forget that salt. Now I'm going to take my flour and I'm doing 4 cups of a blend here. It's all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. I just blend it right in my jar because I don't always have the time to take everything out, especially when the kids are running around. Right now they're having their nap time while I get this started. So there's 4 cups of flour going in. And then when this is all dumped into my bowl, I'm going to start stirring it with my wooden spoon to get it all combined. Now, as I was stirring this, I realized I need a little bit more water. The dough's shaggy, and it's supposed to be a bit shaggy, but it's not supposed to be this dry. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So a lot of the time when I'm baking, I do know what it should look or feel like. And to me, this is just a little bit too dry because this bread is a high hydration dough. So I'm going to go ahead and add another couple ounces of warm filtered water in. And I'm just going to keep stirring it up till it's really nice and gooey. So here it is, all that water is incorporated and it's starting to look like a gooey ball. And now we're gonna let it sit for an hour. So I let it sit for an hour. That's called the auto-lease. All of the gluten from the flour starts getting activated. And here's the first set of stretch and folds. You basically just lift up the dough, stretch it out, fold it over on itself, and you do this every half an hour, 4 times. You'll start to see how the gluten in the dough is getting stretchier and the bread is looking softer and more smooth. And this is really important in the making of sourdough because your gluten, as it gets activated and you're pulling it, and it starts to get more elasticity, and so the crust of your sourdough in the end will be better because of these stretch and folds. Here's how the dough is looking after all of the stretch and folds. This is a couple hours later, and I'm getting ready to shape the dough. I cut parchment paper into a round shape with some handles. I'm going to put it in this little bread basket. I don't have a banneton. You don't need a banneton. This is my simple way of doing it to show you that you don't need everything to just get started and to learn how to do it. Someday I might get a banneton, someday I might get a blade for scoring the top, but those are things I don't have right now, and that's okay. It's not keeping me from having fermented bread at home that's healthier for my family. So I'm just laminating the dough, that's stretching it out on the countertop and folding it up. This is helping the gluten on the crust to be elastic, and it's just gonna help the final result of the crust of my dough as I'm shaping it and working it, stretching it. Yeah, I do this a couple times and then I'm just gonna plop it in my bread basket and leave it there. I'm gonna put some saran wrap on there with an elastic. I'm gonna leave it on my countertop until it's doubled in size. For me, when I did this yesterday, it took about 5 hours. This is it 5 hours later from my countertop. It's about almost doubled, not quite, but I put it in the fridge after this for the night. Here's the next morning. I'm taking the saran wrap off the top. It's a little sticky. Usually I have a spray bottle with water in it and I just squirt it a couple times and the saran wrap comes off, no problem. But my daughter had the spray bottle yesterday and I don't know where she put it. So I just wet my hands and just helping that saran wrap come right off the top with a little bit of water on my fingers. And that worked, no problem. I'm preheating my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm putting my Dutch oven in the oven while it warms up so that it can get nice and hot. And then I'm going to score my bread. This is so that the bread, when it rises, doesn't tear apart. Mine might still tear a little bit because I don't have the best blade, but I'm just using a paring knife here, and it works fine. And yeah, I'm just gonna get some little scores on the top and I'm gonna plop it in my Dutch oven when my Dutch oven is hot. So my Dutch oven's hot. I put my dough right in here. I'm gonna put the lid on, stick it in the oven. There, it's been in the oven for half an hour. I'm going to turn down the heat to 400 and I'm just gonna let it get nice and toasty on the crust. So here it is, 50 minutes of baking time and it's hot and ready. I'm going to leave it on the counter for a few hours before I cut into it. But yeah, thanks for following along. This is how I do sourdough. It's not perfect. It's not even pretty. Some people do amazing, cool things with their sourdough. They're just so creative and their bread looks fabulous. They sell it. This is just for my family, and this video is just to show you what you can do for your family if you're not aiming for perfection. Don't let perfection stop you from doing something, getting started, and practicing, because unless you do it for a long time and really get a feel for it, like, we all have to start somewhere. And this is my video showing you how to get started. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.